The 89-year-old actress donated much of her memorabilia to the Motion Picture Academy's Margaret Herrick Library, where we met.
This is where everything is kept so beautifully. And here I am. He was such a wonderful director, gentleman, funny, courteous.
Did you ever think someone might campaign for an Oscar back in the day? I didn't really understand what that meant back then, to be honest. We all know politicians campaign for votes, right? But this was different. You see, there was a woman, a star, who was not who anyone expected. Alfred Hitchcock himself didn't think she had what it took for North by Northwest. At 34, she was too old, too innocent, and not blonde enough to be the leading lady. But what Hitchcock didn't know was that Eva Marie Saint had a secret she'd kept hidden from the legendary director. Now, at 100 years old, she's finally telling us what really went down behind the scenes with Cary Grant, and why Hitchcock never knew the truth about those intense moments between his stars. Early life and challenges. Eva Marie Saint was born on July 4, 1924, in Newark, New Jersey. It almost seems fitting that someone as bold and independent as she would come into the world on Independence Day.
I made decisions. I had an agent once who wanted me to do many more movies. And I said, I can't. I can only do one a year, if that. I have children, little children.
From the start, Eva's life was full of challenges. At just 3 years old, she almost lost her life to scarlet fever. The doctors didn't think she would survive, but she did, and it set the tone for her fierce resilience. At 7, Eva accidentally set her family's garage on fire while playing with matches. Instead of being punished, her parents used it as a teaching moment about responsibility, a lesson that stayed with her and shaped how she tackled every challenge in her life. Like many families during the Great Depression, Eva's didn't have it easy. But her father always managed to make things work. One time, in 1935, he traded a month's worth of tire sales for a cow just so they could have fresh milk. It was clever and resourceful, something Eva would learn to appreciate in her own journey. Eva's first taste of the spotlight came when she was 12. She entered a local talent contest and won by pretending to be Shirley Temple. The prize? A year's supply of ice cream. But what really stood out was how she shared that prize with her neighbors. A small gesture that foreshadowed the warmth and generosity she'd bring to the screen later in life. By the time she graduated high school in 1942, Eva had collected 743 four-leaf clovers. She called them her lucky charm, and who could blame people for believing that they helped her on her path to Hollywood? Initially, Eva thought she would follow in her mother's footsteps and become a teacher, but life had other plans. She won a scholarship to Bowling Green State University in Ohio, and though she had never been there, she wrote a creative essay that earned her a spot. At first, she stood out for all the wrong reasons. She had terrible stage fright and was rejected by the drama club. But rather than giving up, Eva chose to face her fear head-on. She volunteered for psychology experiments to test how people react to fear. After months of practice, she finally gained the confidence to speak in front of a crowd. This led her to audition for a play, and in a moment of pure courage, she wore a blindfold during the audition. She nailed it.
I played the little girl grown up many, many years later. And I see Peter, and since I was a little girl, I had such a crush on him when I was little and he was big and so forth.
This marked the beginning of her acting career. After college, Eva made a bold move. She skipped the comfortable teaching job back home and moved to New York City with only $40 and a dream. Her first job wasn't glamorous. She worked as a human mannequin in a store window, standing still for hours on end. But that job led to something bigger, a modeling gig for a toothpaste ad spotted by a talent scout. But even after that, success didn't come easy. Eva faced rejection after rejection, 47 auditions where she was turned away. At her lowest point, she sneaked into NBC studios pretending to be an employee. Someone noticed her confidence and offered her a real job. That's how her television career began. Eva's first television appearance came in 1948, where she demonstrated how television sets worked. That was just the start. Later that year, she got a role on a radio soap opera called A Woman's Life. Despite losing her voice just minutes before going on air, she powered through. Eva's versatility was quickly recognized. She played everything from a teen detective to a talking horse, all in the same day. The big break. By 1953, Eva's hard work paid off. She landed her big break in the Broadway play The Trip to Bountiful. She wasn't the lead actress, but when the main actress fell ill, Eva stepped in with only 24 hours to prepare. Her performance was so powerful that she earned critical acclaim and a Best Newcomer award. During one of her performances, renowned director Elia Kazan spotted her and invited her to audition for his next film. This led to Eva being cast in On the Waterfront, and that was just the beginning. In 1954, Eva Marie Saint took on a role that would forever change her life, On the Waterfront. But getting there wasn't easy. The casting process was tough.
And Kazan pointed it out to me that I was talking to the crew and the other actors before my scene.
And many actresses were vying for the role of Edie Doyle. Director Elia Kazan and producer Sam Spiegel needed someone who could be both innocent and strong. Actresses like Elizabeth Montgomery and Claire Trevor were in the running, but it was Eva, a newcomer with no film experience, who caught Kazan's eye. She gave her first audition in November 1953, and Kazan was impressed by how naturally she expressed emotion. Still, Montgomery's audition in late November was also strong, so the two actresses were tested together. They were paired with Marlon Brando for the screen test, and it was in this moment, during the famous glove scene, that Eva truly stood out. She dropped her glove, Brando picked it up, and their chemistry was undeniable. Eva later admitted she was nervous acting alongside Brando, but something about the moment clicked. By December 18th, Kazan and Spiegel made their choice. Eva got the role. It was a surprising decision for many, given her lack of fame, but it was life-changing for her. She was paid just $7,500 for the role, a far cry from what a big star would have earned, but it set her on a new path. Filming began in Hoboken, New Jersey on November 17, 1954. Eva was 30 years old and it was her first movie. She was acting alongside Marlon Brando, who was already a legend in his own right. Brando's unpredictable method of acting forced Eva to stay on her toes, responding to him in the moment, which led to some of the most memorable scenes in the film. One moment that stood out was the glove scene. Brando picked up Eva's glove and started to play with it, something that wasn't scripted. This small, unscripted gesture added a layer of intimacy that became one of the film's most iconic moments. Kazan was known for pushing his actors to their limits, often testing their emotions in ways that made them feel raw and real on camera. The production wasn't without its challenges. The freezing winter weather in Hoboken meant temperatures often dropped below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and some of the cameras actually froze during filming on the docks. The creative cinematographer, Boris Kaufman, solved the problem by using vodka to unfreeze the cameras, allowing them to continue shooting. That kind of ingenuity helped give the film its gritty, raw look.
When you do your shows and you see and you were very good in something, are you surprised? Oh yes, I can see you are. You are surprised.
I'm constantly amazed.
You're constantly amazed.
Another hurdle came when the local longshoremen's union got upset over the portrayal of unions in the film and threatened to stop production. After tense negotiations, Kazan hired 40 union workers as extras, which not only solved the issue but also added authenticity to the film's setting. The music for the film was another triumph. Kazan asked Leonard Bernstein, a composer who had never worked on a film before, to create the score. Initially unsure, Bernstein agreed after seeing a rough cut. In just 10 days, he composed a haunting, powerful score that perfectly matched the film's emotional intensity. During the editing process, something special was added to the climactic scene by editor Jean Milford. She used close-up shots of pigeons flying away, paired with shots of Brando's character, to give the scene a poetic quality. This small touch elevated the moment, making it unforgettable. Eva's performance in On the Waterfront earned her an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, which she won on March 30th, 1955. At the time, she was 8 months pregnant, and her doctor advised her not to travel from New York to Los Angeles. But Eva wasn't about to miss this moment. she arrived at the Oscars in a custom-made white gown, sitting in the front row with her husband. When her name was announced, she was overwhelmed with emotion. Joking that she might have the baby right there, her acceptance speech was simple and heartfelt. She thanked Kazan, Brando, and her husband. What most people didn't know was how close the vote had been. It was revealed years later that Eva won by just 3 votes. 9 days after her win, she gave birth to her son, Daryl, and kept the Oscar in her hospital room as a symbol of her professional and personal triumphs. Winning the Oscar opened new doors for Eva. Her next role came in Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, 1959. At 34, she was considered older than the typical leading lady in Hollywood, but Hitchcock saw something unique in her.
You're working with an incredible script, Bruce Lehman's script, a director, the other actors, and you do the best you can. You're never thinking beyond that day's work, ever.
He believed she could bring both innocence and sensuality to the character of Eve Kendall, a role that would set her apart from the usual Hitchcock blonde. Hitchcock was known for being incredibly hands-on with his actresses, and he took it to another level with Eva. He even took her shopping at Bergdorf Goodman in New York, picking out her wardrobe for the film and spending $50,000, equivalent to $450,000 today, on designer clothes. He also worked on her voice, making her practice for hours each day to lower her pitch and sound more seductive. This change was so drastic that when her husband first heard her voice on set, he was shocked. Filming with her co-stars, Cary Grant and James Mason, wasn't always smooth. Grant, known for his perfectionism, wasn't sure Eva was the right choice at first. But when they started filming, their chemistry was undeniable, especially during the charged scenes between their characters. One particular scene on a train was so intense that they had to do multiple takes, leaving the crew a little embarrassed. Even Mason, who played the villain, eventually admitted that Eva's performance was incredible, calling it revelatory. One of the most famous moments in North by Northwest is the Mount Rushmore chase scene, which caused quite a stir. Hitchcock had initially planned to film the chase on the actual monument, but the National Park Service stepped in, worried it would disrespect the monument. In secret, Hitchcock's team took photos of the monument to create realistic backdrops for the studio scenes. When the film came out in 1959, the effects were so realistic that people believed the chase had actually been filmed on Mount Rushmore. Some even tried to recreate the chase on the monument itself, leading to arrests and tightening security around the area. Despite the controversy, the scene became one of the most iconic moments in film history, showcasing Hitchcock's brilliance. In North by Northwest, Eva Marie Saint wasn't just another Hitchcock blonde. At 35, she brought maturity, intelligence, and a depth of character to the role of Eve Kendall that set her apart. Hitchcock's meticulous direction helped shape her performance, and together with Cary Grant, they created a chemistry that made the film unforgettable. Eva's portrayal of Eve Kendall earned her a BAFTA nomination and solidified her place in film history. Unlike some actresses who had difficult experiences working with Hitchcock, Eva's time with the director was much more positive.
Now, about Alfred Hitchcock, whom I adored and respected. He was that rare director who appealed to both film critics and the larger public.
She appreciated his guidance and felt that his attention to detail made her performance all the more powerful. For Eva, working with Hitchcock was a highlight of her career, transforming her from the good girl into a complex, alluring heroine. Eva Marie Saint's career didn't just stop after her rise to fame in the 1950s and 1960s. Over the decades, she evolved with the changing times, effortlessly transitioning between film and television. But more than that, her journey was defined by how gracefully she aged, how she continued to challenge herself with new roles, and how she maintained a balance between Hollywood and a fulfilling family life, staying active and evolving with the times. Eva Marie Saint's career post, North by Northwest, and On the Waterfront, saw her shifting towards more diverse roles. The actress had already shown a remarkable range of talents, from playing the innocent and vulnerable Edie Doyle in On the Waterfront, to embodying the elegant and mysterious Eve Kendall in Alfred Hitchcock's Thriller. Yet, she never allowed herself to be boxed into a particular type of role. In the 1960s, she took on the role of Kitty Fremont in Exodus, 1960, a grand epic film about the creation of the State of Israel. Filming in the harsh conditions of the Middle East, Eva proved her mettle, with real explosions happening on set while she performed tirelessly. This performance showcased her strength, dedication, and ability to act alongside the greats, including Paul Newman, without being overshadowed. She followed this with comedic roles, including the 1966 film The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, a light-hearted political satire about a Soviet submarine's unexpected arrival off the coast of New England. Playing Elise Whitaker, a woman trying to keep things under control, Saint demonstrated her ability to balance humor with the same poise that marked her dramatic roles. She even performed her own stunts, including jumping out of a second-story window, which earned her praise for her commitment to physicality in comedy. Through these years, it was clear that Eva was more than just the Hitchcock blonde. Her career trajectory demonstrated an impressive variety of roles, from dramatic performances to comedic timing, and this versatility helped her build a career that transcended the roles she had become most known for early on. Despite the demands of Hollywood, Eva Marie Saint never let her career overshadow her dedication to her family. In 1951, just 3 years into her marriage to Jeffrey Hayden, whom she met on a subway in New York City, they began a long and loving partnership that lasted for 65 years until his passing in 2016.
What's it like for you both to see, in the current age, see so many people out here to honor you guys, to honor the golden age of cinema, and just to be a part of this?
I know, it's wonderful.
Their relationship was an exception in Hollywood, known for its often short-lived marriages, but theirs was built on mutual respect, shared interests, and a love for travel and life outside of the spotlight. Eva and Jeffrey's marriage wasn't just personal, it was professional as well. Jeffrey directed Eva in various plays and TV shows, including the 1964 production of The Miracle Worker, where she starred opposite Anne Bancroft. Over the years, their deep bond resulted in many collaborations, strengthening both their personal and professional lives. They had 2 children, Daryl and Lorette, and Eva made it a point to prioritize family life. She would plan her work around their school schedules and often turned down roles in order to be present for key moments in her children's lives, such as school plays and parent-teacher meetings. Saint remained a protective mother, keeping her children away from the Hollywood spotlight as much as possible. In fact, she and Jeffrey stayed in the same Los Angeles house for more than 50 years, leading a relatively quiet life compared to most Hollywood families. They only occasionally attended glitzy events, preferring a simpler life to the media frenzy surrounding their careers. Eva often joked that if she were to write a book, it would be titled How to Make It in Hollywood and Be a Normal Person. In addition to her family life and acting career, Eva Marie Saint was deeply committed to social causes, especially civil rights and environmental conservation. In the 1960s, she and her husband joined marches for equality, standing up for the civil rights movement at a time when America was experiencing deep racial divisions. She used her fame as a platform to support causes that were dear to her, understanding that her celebrity could bring attention to important issues. One of her most significant philanthropic efforts was her work with Paul Newman's charity, the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp. This camp is dedicated to helping children with serious illnesses, and Eva frequently spent time with the campers, raising funds for the organization. Her personal connection to this cause made her work with the charity especially meaningful.
I'm not an actress, I'm not on the town very much. Kind of a homebody with my dear husband. The kids are gone, but I don't do this very often, but it's fun.
Eva also founded a scholarship at her alma mater, Bowling Green State University, to support students pursuing careers in theater and film. She believed in giving back to the community that had supported her and saw this as a way to ensure future generations of artists could pursue their dreams without financial worry. Her commitment to helping young people in the arts was a testament to her belief in the power of education and mentorship. Later in life, she took a more direct approach to environmental advocacy, particularly regarding climate change. At 81, she narrated the documentary Arctic Tale, which focused on the effects of global warming on wildlife in the Arctic. Her involvement in such causes demonstrated that, even as a senior citizen, she was actively engaged in using her platform for good. a career that spanned decades. As the years passed, Eva continued to defy the conventional notion that Hollywood and television careers were limited to youth. Even in her 80s, she remained highly active in the entertainment industry. In 1990, she won an Emmy Award for her portrayal of Lil Altimus in People Like Us, a miniseries about high society life in New York. Playing the character from youth to old age, Saint proved that not only did she have the range, but also the staying power to thrive in roles that spanned generations. Eva Marie Saint's career, spanning more than 6 decades, was not limited to the type of roles she once played. She remained a relevant and beloved figure well into her senior years, working on high-profile projects such as Winter's Tale in 2014, where at the age of 89, she played an older version of a character, matching her younger counterpart's style. She insisted on performing difficult scenes despite the freezing temperatures in New York, refusing to use a stand-in, earning praise for her unwavering commitment to her craft. At 92, Saint took on voice acting for the animated series Transformers, Robots in Disguise, a role she enjoyed immensely, even though it was a departure from her previous work. She continued to embrace new mediums and challenge herself in different ways, demonstrating that age was no barrier to her creativity. Even in her 90s, Eva Marie Saint remained an active figure in the entertainment world. She made a memorable appearance at the 2016 Oscars, just before her 94th birthday, presenting an award and receiving a standing ovation from the audience. It was clear that her contributions to Hollywood had left an indelible mark, and the respect and admiration she received from both peers and fans alike were a testament to her incredible legacy. As Eva Marie Saint celebrated her 100th birthday in 2024, her legacy was officially honored in numerous ways. In 2020, she received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild, becoming the oldest recipient in the organization's history. In addition to her SAG Award, she received a Kennedy Center honor in 2012, recognizing her significant contributions to the arts. Her university, Bowling Green State University, named its theater after her in 2018, and she donated her personal archives, including scripts and photographs, to their collection, ensuring that her story would continue to inspire future generations of actors and filmmakers. Throughout her career, Eva proved that talent doesn't fade with age. Rather, it deepens, matures, and becomes even more valuable. Her ability to transition from the silver screen to television, and later to voice acting, showed her versatility and her enduring appeal. In 2023, she was celebrated at the Academy Awards, receiving a standing ovation that lasted more than 3 minutes, a fitting tribute to a woman whose career had spanned nearly 70 years. Her life and work have left a lasting impact on Hollywood, on generations of actors, and on audiences around the world. She's not only remembered for the iconic roles she played, but for her unyielding professionalism, her commitment to social causes, and her ability to remain relevant in an ever-changing industry. Eva Marie Saint's journey through the Hollywood Golden Age and beyond is proof that greatness isn't defined by age, but by the lasting impression you leave on the world around you. Her legacy continues to shine brightly, a beacon of talent, grace, and humility that will inspire generations to come.